Why do we have... He's not tied up like the slave contract of yesteryear. When I was running boxing, it was much easier. We were slave traders. We had these guys and they were working for us and we was the boss. The pendulum has swung. Now I have to say, Mr. Dillian White. I have to be respectful. And it's really a nice position to be in because we can be honest with each other. Dillian.
Making 3-4 times more than what any other world champion was making 20 years ago.
Yeah. Have you ever met Al Haymon? Because I think a lot of people, they give Al Haymon a lot of credit for that, for changing that in boxing.
He came strong and he did a great job. I've met him a couple times. You know, I don't communicate with him that much, but I met him a couple times and he made a change. And a lot of fighters, especially the guys fighting for PPC, you know, they get paid well. They do get paid.
But is that good for boxing, Robert?
It's great for boxing, especially for the fighters, of course. You know, a lot of people, maybe other promoters are negative about it because now they have to maybe raise their purses up a little, but
raise the salary.
Yeah, you know, they have to, but
I want to thank Al Haymon because, man, let me tell you something, right? When I first came out to amateurs, really nobody wanted me, and I was in a terrible contract with Gary Shaw, and Al Haymon got me out of my contract. And let me tell you something, I don't want to brag, but I got $1 million worth of properties and I just won the title. I only fought for the title one time. Al Haymon is such a great guy.
You just fought for the title twice and you got 3 belts. I got to go talk to Jared. Congratulations on an
Speaking of hate and speaking of jealousy, what do you think about the lawsuits against Al Haymon right now?
You know, Al Haymon's a smart man, and it's crazy because you think I get hate. Imagine other promoters, they hate him right now. So it's like, Al Haymon's too smart, man. So Al Haymon's the best thing that ever happened to boxing, if you ask me, because at the end of the day, boxing is about the fighters. It's about the fighters getting the most money, the most exposure. And before I signed with Al Haymon, my biggest payday was $12,500. My biggest payday, I was 19-0. My biggest payday before I signed with Al Haymon was $12,500. So what that's to tell you, now I make millions. So that tells you if he's good or bad. I let the fans at home judge that.
Al Haymon, you're an amazing person, a very shrewd businessman, another father that understood that I really wanted to learn the business on the outside. We worked hand in hand, years and years together, and we made it happen. And you're not just a great manager or a great advisor. You're one of the greatest people that I ever met in my life. And I can't leave my dad out. Of course, Dad, without you, all this wouldn't be possible. Without you, Dad, I would never met Al Haymon because you taught me the sport of boxing. And me and Al was able to join forces and come together and make some major things happen in the sport of boxing.
You know, that's even with Al Haymon as well too. You know, a lot of people criticize him and say he's bad for boxing, but he's a genius for boxing. He's great for boxing. And when I consider about Al Haymon, I feel that he's more than he may be a manager to some, he may be an advisor to others, but he's a father figure. He's definitely a role model. He's somebody that sit down and talk to you. When you need him, he's there. He's there. And I like the fact that he like to be the guy that laid back. He like to be the ghost. You know, to others. You know, you can sit next, you can be somewhere and be right next to him and not even know it. And I like that because a lot of maybe managers or promoter, whatever, they want to be more famous than the fighter. The guy that get in there risking his life, that he could come in there all well, then lead a fight. He may be dead or something like that, you know. God forbid anything that happens to any fighter, but, you know, we have people that like that. But Al, he like to be out. He do what's best for his fighters. He get his fighters the top of the line, no matter what it is. And I got a great team, man. I'm blessed.
Business. Can you talk to us about Al Haymon's influence outside of boxing, and just guiding the fighters into a future outside of boxing?
Well, the main thing with me is even before I turned pro, like I was deciding who I was gonna sign with, you know, and Top Rank was coming at me with a big signing bonus and things like that. And it was my father really got me to sign with Al because you know, he was saying it's not about right now, it's about later. And when I talked to Al, and I was talking about, you know, life after boxing, he was talking about retirement. And I haven't had a professional fight yet. And he's talking about retirement and life after boxing. I'm like, man, what the hell are you talking about, life after boxing? Like, I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about the fight. So, you know, Al always been that guy that, you know, always, like, every time I talk to him or we have a conversation about business and things like that, he always talk about life after boxing, always talk about, you know, setting yourself up for the long run. And, you know, boxing on a little bit part of your life. So, you know, that's why, you know, you wonder why a lot of guys stay loyal to Al, and a lot of guys, you know, don't go against the grain because, you know, he not only you're a boxer, but he cares about the person outside of boxing. So just like, you know, other fighters that he helped, like Paul Williams and a lot of guys he pay for their funeral and stuff like that, you don't hear about what he does at things. So, I mean, you know, he helped me out a lot, different Roth RAs and different things like that, you know, to help my career out the side of boxing for my kids and stuff like that. So, you know, I never go against the grain with Al because he's been nothing but good to me, not only outside the ring, but inside the ring. So, you know, it is what it is. People can say what they want or they're loyal to Al for no reason, but, you know, he's setting us up for a future outside of boxing, not just right now.
Yeah, I know you're in the moment.
Result of power punches, starting with 2 right-hand leads over the top that landed flush, and then a brilliant uppercut that really put Shane Mosley in big trouble for a round and a half.
Score Mosley 1,000 for Hart. Didn't give up. Kept trying to get back into the fight.
But score Forrest 1,000 for technique and for being able to use his right hand.
So I have to thank God first for giving me this victory. I have to thank Al HAYMON, my manager.